Hey guys, it's Canadian, and today we are doing another VOD review. This is going to be for PC user Whistler. He submitted this quite a bit ago, and we're finally getting to it. Whistler, if you're watching, I apologize for the delay. So this is going to be on Eichenwalde, starting out in defense. If this is your first time watching one of these, my name is Canadian. I do these VOD reviews pretty regularly, about 3 times a week at least at 1 p.m. Eastern on my Twitch channel. All my relevant social medias will be in the description if you're interested. We're going to be looking at, this guy's positioning, shield usage, reload management, if it's a serious problem, alt usage, stuff like that. Anyways, let's get started. Oh, as a quick note, in the past when I've done reviews, I kind of have a bad habit of explaining the same concept each time I see it. So let's say, for example, using your personal shield to like eat spam. I'll say it the first time and explain it like really in depth, and then I kind of fall into a bad habit of it reiterating, explaining how to eat spam with personal shield. So I'm going to do my best to explain something in depth the first time it happens, and then just call it out every subsequent time, so we don't have to keep going over it. So this is going to be a challenge for me. I'm going to do my best, so bear with me. Anyways, let's get started with this review. So obviously, at the start of a match is usually a poke phase, so hopefully we can get some free energy. So we did a good job there. I didn't actually see the... Oh, there's the protected barrier on the Ana because she stepped forward, which is fine. Like I said, it's a poke phase right at the start. We get 50 energy, so we're in a good spot. And then, from here, right? Come on, pen. There we go. From here, 50. One good personal shield. So we have 9 seconds on this personal shield. So we're going to decay 18 energy. So we're going to go from 50 to like 32. And that's fine. One good personal shield will shoot us right back up to 42. So we're still in a really good... Or I'm sorry, not 42. 72. 72. So one good personal shield will still keep our energy really high. Now we're in a position where we just need to make sure we get a lot of value out of this project barrier in the when we get our next one. The enemy team isn't running a Reinhardt, so we can get a lot of right-click spam off to try and build ult, maybe do some damage. This is a really good reload right here. So you're shooting, and then right when the target dies, you reload now when there's no one around, and so you're ready to fire again. So the play that sometimes happens from other Zarya players is that they get this kill, and there will be plenty of times when I'm reviewing a video, I'm like, yo, why are you reloading? There's enemies right around. And so, obviously this is not the case, but other Zarya players will turn this corner without reloading and then try and fight with only 35 ammo, and then they're forced to reload right now. So, it's a small thing, but good job reloading in that small window of opportunity you had versus reloading now. By the way, since we killed that Winston, we are initiating another poke phase with the enemy, right? They don't have any engage tools, right? No Reinhardt, nothing like that. They don't really have any flankers. So that's why we see our Zarya use a barrier right here. And I think this barrier is totally fine. It's an 8-second cooldown, 2-second duration, so it's 10 seconds total. It'll take about that long for Winston to come back. So this barrier that we're seeing is fine. We can, as Zarya, our game sense is telling us the enemy team's not going to push in the next 10 seconds, so we can afford to use this barrier. And look, we're sitting at 83, so we can decay all the way down to 60 before we really need to use another shield. Now this personal shield we see the Zarya use is because Farah was shooting us in the back, and we saw she just, fell down. And then we're getting shot from the front by Soldier because Reinhardt, dipped to the side, probably for shield management reasons. So we see the shield come out from Zarya, and, well, it's more of a... She was more protecting herself. It's not the best shield, obviously. Now Reinhardt puts his shield back. She's at full health. So there's really no opportunity to get energy. It's just more of a reactionary barrier, which is what usually we want, but the enemy team was smart enough to stop shooting our Zarya in that instant. Really good focus on the problem, which was the Pharah and the Mercy, so that was really good. As we see, now the enemy team is running Reinhardt, so they're solving their engage problem. So we're coming into this fight. We did a really good job of using our whole magazine on Pharah and Mercy. Now, if we go back again, this isn't happening in this video, but you'll get players who they just killed Farah and they're reload, and now they're stuck reloading while this Mercy's here, and the player we're watching does an amazing job not doing that, using their whole magazine as doing as much damage as possible to help secure this kill. So really good job by our player. And so now, right, we see 3 dead in the top right. The enemy team is not going to reliably engage on us, so we've entered into another poke phase, especially now that Reinhardt's died. We're definitely in another poke phase. So this next rotation of barriers we see right here, where there's 1 second on each of these. And what's our energy at? 66. We only need 1 barrier to push us to 100. But the point is, we can use either barrier to do this because we are in a poke phase. The enemy team has lost numbers. We have a giant numbers advantage, and wow, an even nice staggered cleanup kill onto the Anna. A great use of the grenade here. Beam, 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 beam. Anna's turning this corner. We know there's a health pack right here. Our player is really smart, knows that she's going to go for it, puts her grenade right through the door. So again, really clean play, really smart. And like I said, we can use those barriers, even though this barrier we just used gave us like 12 energy, yeah, 13 energy. We're at 87, and this barrier puts us at 100. It's completely fine because we're in this poke phase. Okay, I think I've mentioned the poke phase thing enough times, so I'm just going to call it out. We're in a poke phase. We can use barriers and try my best to not keep explaining it in depth. Apologies. Once the enemy Reinhardt comes back, the poke phase is basically over. Alright, we have Graviton here, so it's really important now you at least announce to your team you have ultimate. Now, obviously I want this to go one step further where you say, I have Graviton, what other allied ultimates are coming up? Do we have any combos? And if so, let's say you have a Genji, right? Let's say you commit to, I'm sorry, not a Genji, a McCree. Let's say you commit to a high noon Graviton. Now, I want you to announce to your team, ideally, guys, we're going to use high noon Graviton this next fight. And then I'm specifically saving projected barrier for our McCree, so be careful. So what that does is it tells your Reinhardt to play, you know, he has the knowledge now that if he gets charged, he shouldn't expect a barrier from you. And the reason you want to barrier your McCree, obviously you don't want him to get sleep darted or bursted down by like helix rockets or anything like that. So definitely Graviton is one of the ultimates that requires the most communication to use well. So I'm hoping we see something come out in the next couple seconds here. At least telling your team you have it will let them know in their heads that a Graviton is about to happen. So I don't think that was the case, but we see actually a really good Graviton. Now let's take a look at this. So Soldier obviously goes in the stairs right there. We see Anna, who we want to grab in this. We see Zarya, who, you know, we can grab in this, but if she's got her shields up, it's going to be a little bit difficult. She'll shield herself and she'll shield Anna. Obviously, Reinhardt's going to put his big shield up. So we want to, you know, rotate through this Graviton, make the Reinhardt choose between pointing it this way at my team or pointing it that way at the Zarya. So we don't know the result of this grab yet. Personally, I'm not optimistic about it. I don't think the follow-up is there. And I think it was a little bit forced. So let's see what happens. The Reinhardt just dipped out. Did you guys see that? He just charged just completely away from grab. So if you're a Reinhardt player watching this, what you have to do is, you know, willingly walk into the Graviton, Reinhardt players. You know, put up that shield, protect your teammates. Now, a quick note about the enemy Zarya. She should have honestly shielded her Anna right here. Definitely a squishier target than this Rein's. Just a small mistake on the other side. But anyway, let's go back to this Graviton. There's no need to even rotate through the Reinhardt shield because Reinhardt didn't even stand there. Like, let's just do a little bit of a what if, right? If this Reinhardt had made the smart play and stood in the Graviton, right? How is Zarya going to shoot this Anna? You know, there's going to be a giant Reinhardt shield here. So this is a big misplay from the Reinhardt, which really makes this Graviton worth it from our Zarya's perspective. Now, again, my main criticism are there was no communication from our Zarya, not even, you know, typing communication, and there was no, you know, announcement of the ultimate happening or letting her team know the ultimate would happen. It's still a good Graviton. Honestly, the misplay makes this Graviton work better than it should. You guys clean up 2 kills from the Reinhardt not being there. And you've won the fight, so now again you're entering into another poke phase. You're still sitting at a really high amount of energy for the most part. You're at, I think it's 60 right or 70 right now. So right, that barrier we just saw is a we have won the fight barrier. Once the fight's over or won or lost, depending on which side of the fight you're on, you can be more generous with your barriers. You don't need to be as reserved with them as I recommend. For example, again, this barrier right here, we're in a poke phase. By the time we get it back, a fight will not have happened. So we can use barriers like that and be relatively unpunished, right? So we already have the barrier back. Now, the second barrier, I'm not a fan of. We've already used 2 projected barriers in the poke phase, and I'll just point them out again. Here was one right on the stairs right here. Not poke phase. So the fight's 1 barrier happens right now. So that's barrier number 1. And then we have barrier number 2 right here. But the third barrier, I'm not a fan of because, first of all, just kind of think of Zarya's cooldowns in your head. If you have 2 projected barriers, that means it's at least been 16 seconds. Usually it's at about 20 seconds. So 20 seconds is long enough for the enemy team to regroup. So we see a third projected barrier come out that I'm really not a fan of because now the enemy Reinhardt is back. And if he was smart, the enemy Reinhardt would charge our Rein and get a shield from their Zarya. And what that does is now our Reinhardt can't earth shatter the charging Rein. He's gonna get pinned, and we don't have a barrier. So what I'm describing is the shotgun technique, which I made a video about on my YouTube. Check it out if you feel like it. But I think if the enemy team pulled a shotgun right now, charging our allied Reinhardt into the wall with shielding the enemy Rein and then tossing an grenade on our Rein, they would take this point really easily. I don't expect that to happen, but I would be amazed and impressed by the enemy team if that was the case. Now, like I said, we are fighting now in this without a projected barrier, so it's really risky. The enemy team took way too long to capitalize, and we get another projected barrier back. So that's a bit of a mistake from them and fortunate for us. Although that Rein finally plays it really smart, but the allied Rein plays it way better. All right, let's look at this again. So let's look at our personal shield, right, which is great. Step forward, take damage, step back. Perfect personal shield use. I think there was a reload in there I wasn't a fan of, or was it an entire reload? Nope, so 0 ammo reload, really good. And then I think we get another 0 ammo reload right here. So again, using our whole magazine, really, really good, really smart play. This barrier, I'm not sure what was going in our Zarya's head right now when she does this barrier. I think she was afraid of something rather. The main criticism here is make sure you see the threat either flying through the air like a Pharah rocket or a Reinhardt flying, at your allied Reinhardt before you use this barrier. It's a little bit preemptive, and like I was saying, the enemy Reinhardt is so smart. He sees the barrier. He knows, okay, now is my window of opportunity to charge this Rein because he has no protection, and he does exactly that. Now, 2 things happen. Number 1, thank your healers because the blue team's healers keep this Rein up fantastically. Unfortunately, we saw the enemy Zarya go off to the side here. I'll rewind to show that real quick. And she is not ready to follow up. If you saw that, guys, she just went into this room. Now, she's right here. If she should have been shooting at this Reinhardt, honestly, she made a giant mistake because she's a little bit charged, and her damage with this Reinhardt pin would have killed their Rein. And now, with the blue Reinhardt dead, the red team's Reinhardt could have gotten an amazing Earth Shatter off. It looks like she's trying, but like I said, the thank your healers, the healing from the blue team is absolutely insane. He gets an amazing bait. This Reinhardt is a god. He reads the enemy Reinhardt like a book, puts up a shield, blocks the shatter, and instantly shatters the enemy team. Honestly, your Reinhardt and Anna carried this engagement so far. It's such good play from them. And the Blizzard is just the cherry on top. And so if we look in that fight, guys, we didn't really have good shields in Zarya. We had one too many projected barriers to farm energy, and then the barrier we had during the fight was subpar. It didn't really accomplish anything, and it invited the opportunity for the enemy team to capitalize on our poor barrier use. But so far, it's worked out. Now they do get a huge resurrect, so we have to find out what's about. We have blah 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 blah. Forgive me. I wonder what's going to happen. Every team has used a lot of resources, but man, it looks like the blue team is just has their number. Let's see this one more time. The resurrect happens. Blue team Rein charges. We're focusing down the Mercy, which is really good. Alright, this is a perfect barrier, right? Because we see a nano boosted Rhine swinging and our Rhine. This is the barrier you want in a fight. So this one compared to your previous in-fight barrier, this one is clearly much better, right? We're at 45 energy. Let's see how much energy we get for this. 67. We get about 20 energy from it because the red Rhine literally can't do anything. He's just swinging at us. And again, more good personal shield use. We see him swinging, so we use our personal shield and walk right up to him. Again, just really smart play from the entire blue team, honestly. Not just our Zarya, but everyone on the blue team played that really smart. You know, the DPS are getting their kills, the healing is insane, and our Reinhardt is a god. Now, the second half of that fight was much better for our Zarya than the first part. And again, we are seeing those barriers come out in a poke phase, right? We just killed the enemy frontliner. We have some time, so we see the barriers come out for the energy, and we're going to be fine by the time of the next fight. As we can see right now, we have both cooldowns, and another fight has not happened. Alright, so this is an important development, right? The enemy team now has a Roadhog. They are looking for maximum effectiveness in their hero picks, right? 40 seconds left, they can switch heroes because they're not going to get another ultimate in 40 seconds unless they're amazing. And so when you make the switch to Roadhog, the red team's thinking, alright, what's the most impact I can make in the next 40 seconds? So, excuse me, I was taking a drink of water there. So by them picking Roadhog, they're saying we have to get a pick to get a numbers advantage to roll this point. So as Zarya, it is now your job to invalidate that Roadhog pick. Make him overextend to try and get a pick, and you just shield whoever it is, and make him regret ever switching to Roadhog as Zarya. I keep rewinding to look at this projected barrier, and I'm also talking, so I keep missing it. So I think this projected barrier is a bit premature, and forgive me if we rewind one more time, I'll explain why. So right, we were looking at the back, Pharah was trying to get a flank off. Right when we turn this corner, we don't know what's happening, right? Look at the screen. We see our allies and that's it. These cars are blocking our line of sight on the choke. We just see, whoever this is taking like a bit of damage. But we also see that Anna's healing him. And now, well, a lot of that is hard to, really witness in game. It's something to, think about it. Like, is our Reinhardt really in danger right now? And from this screen, I don't think he is. So again, we walk forward a bit more, and then we finally use our projected barrier. So with 40 seconds left, I am not a fan of this barrier because we definitely need to be ready to make an impact, and that we shield our Mei, and that concept is solidified even more. Like now that we see the Roadhog, I wish even more we had held this barrier because he gets, it looks like, 7 seconds to hook and kill somebody. So your whole, that's what I'm saying. Make sure you come into a fight and assess the situation before you use your barriers. That way you get maximum effectiveness out of them. Ooh, I mean, a little bit of an overcommit here. This is just a communication and timing issue. So first off, we used our barriers. Obviously, the enemy team uses their graviton, so we do a fine job of shielding ourselves. But the communication's a bit lacking. So the blue team uses Earth Shatter and graviton. Obviously, you do not want to stack those ultimates. You really want one or the other. So it's not either player's fault for using their ult, but it's the team's fault for not communicating what they wanted to do. I think Earthshatter would have been a bit better here because they don't have any shields, and the Earthshatter is better versus shield or no shield teams than Graviton is better to use versus teams with shields than Earthshatter because shields cannot block the application of Graviton, but they can block the application of Earthshatter. So again, a little bit of overcommit here. We get to do a great job using grenade on those clustered enemies. Again, good mid-fight shields. After that Graviton Shatter, basically the fight was over, so we can be really generous with our shields. We can just use them however we want, and we see that right there. We use the shields, and again, we're in another poke base, so we're using more shields just to keep our energy up. If you secure that kill, I'd be very impressed. Oh, that was so close. Good job, by the way, using a grenade to knock the soldier up. I want to see if you could have used a grenade to finish off Zarya here. Maybe, and you definitely went for it. Yeah, so you had the right idea. Unfortunately, you whiffed, but again, great mindset to have using grenade to finish off the Zarya. Now, right here, the other thing I want to commend is using grenade on the soldier to like knock him around. Obviously, he's not going to have any issue aiming because he is using his ultimate, but it's the thought that counts. If he was just charging in willy-nilly, it would still be a good thing to do because it makes it harder for them to aim. He also did a lot of great damage on him as he entered the fight, so your McCree just cleans him up for free. So, that was a really solid round from our Zarya player. The first thing to note is I don't think they died ever. I want to see when the last scoreboard was to kind of look at their average energy. But I don't think the Zarya player died at all, so it's just really smart play, constantly playing behind our Reinhardt shield, not overextending too much for energy. I mean, it was really solid play, like I said too many times already. A little bit too, how do I want to put this? I think you used too many projected barriers in poke phases. You definitely were doing a good job of it at the start, but as the round dragged on, you were kind of using barriers that were leaking into fights, if that makes sense. So like the poke phase would end and your barrier would still be on cooldown. You were doing a good job of keeping your energy up, but don't let that be the focus of your gameplay. You definitely want to be an impact with those barriers. So your personal shields were really good for the most part throughout the whole round. I don't think I saw any, completely terrible ones. But yeah, you had a couple bad projected shields. The main thing for this round for our Zarya player is definitely communicate more when you have Graviton and what you want to accomplish with it. Obviously, you had good grabs, and your first one worked out due to a misplay from the enemy Reinhardt, and your second one was just kind of a we're gonna win this fight anyway because the other team was just YOLOing super hard at the point. So you got a good grab off. You caught 3 people in it. It was unfortunate. You guys also earth shattered, but the main thing is add that communication to your Gravitons, and hopefully you see, even better results with them. You see more combos happen. You see your team have more follow-up because they know it's coming, stuff like that. And also, you're ready to bubble whoever you're comboing with, and your team knows that, so they know to play around it. Anyway, let's go on to round 2. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on the right hand side, and if you want to see more videos, check out these two on the left. Again, thank you so much for watching and have a good one.